Om Shri Sai Ram. We offer our most loving pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Welcome, dear listeners, to this special live Satsangh. Warm greetings from Prashantinilayam to all of you who are tuning in from across the globe. We do hope that all of you are keeping safe and are taking good care of yourself. Swami would often say and remind us that this human body is a temple of God, and it is for that purpose that it has to be fostered and taken care of. So it is very important for us in this time to ensure that we take good care of ourselves, follow the instructions given by competent professionals. But even as we do that, I think Swami is giving us this beautiful opportunity to engage our minds and keep them busy in Satsangh. And we should be ever grateful for that. There is a beautiful verse by a poet saint who says in his dialogue with the Lord, "Dear Lord, I am able to think of you because you have chosen to enter my consciousness. If you had not chosen to come into my mind, I could not have thought of you." So even to think for a moment about the Lord can be possible only with the grace of the Lord. So we should be ever grateful to Swami, and those of us here as part of Radio Sai team are ever more grateful to play a small part in this beautiful opportunity that Swami is giving all of us. Today is the 22nd of May. What is the topic of discussion is not a secret to any of you. In the year 2007, on this very day, Sai Geetha, who was grossly inadequately described as Swami's pet elephant, discarded her mortal coils in Puttaparthi. Why are we discussing about an elephant, a pet elephant, on a satsang? Shouldn't we be talking about something more esoteric, something more philosophical, Advaita maybe, Vishishta Advaita probably? Why are we talking about an elephant? One cannot help but go back to the predicament of King Parikshit when he got to know about the curse which said that he is not going to live for more than 7 days. He was obsessed with this thought: what is the best thing to fill time with? I have only 7 days. What is the best way or best use I can put to of this time that I have remaining? Speaking about that, Swami would often tell us Parikshit was lucky. He knew that he had 7 days. Most of us do not know when the end comes. So this pursuit, this question that he asked, is very relevant for all of us. And the wise one in his kingdom tells him that you have to spend it in listening to Bhagavatam. Swami's Bhagatvayani, Swami very beautifully and clearly tells us what is Bhagavatam. Stories about Bhagwan is Bhagavatam, but Swami says stories about Bhagavatas or devotees is as much Bhagavatam. In the year 2007, when Swami came to the Institute Auditorium, Swami gave a discourse. It's a discourse we will be alluding to throughout today's satsang. Swami made a very profound statement. Talking to the students, Swami said, Sai Geetha had attained a state of absolute focus and determination in her love and devotion to Swami. And Swami said, if anybody is able to think about, speak about, and inculcate that focused love for Swami, Swami said, I myself will draw you closer to me. These are words of Swami himself. So today we are not gathered here, myself and my brother Bishu, to talk about an elephant or a pet of Swami or just another resident who happens to be a non-human being of Prashantinilayam. We are here to talk about a Bhagavata. We are here to talk about a small chapter from Sai Bhagavatam. I'll invite Brother Bishu to join all of us and begin by sharing his introductory thoughts.
Sai Ram, dear listeners and viewers. Really, it's such a beautiful opportunity on this day to contemplate on the life of Sai Geetha. in that discourse Bhagwan gave in the Institute auditorium, Swami very clearly said, if only you can remember, recollect, ruminate and relish that sweet relationship that existed, that exists between Swami and Sai Geetha. Swami said, then I will myself draw you closer to me. I will make you near and dear to me. And why would anyone not want to drink from this cup of nectar? Sai Baba Geeta Sudha Madhuram Madhuram Anandam. Reminded of that one very mystifying facet of Sai Geetha. It always happened that Sai Geetha knew Swami's movements, Swami's arrivals. There have been so many occasions when Bhagwan would start from the mandir, from the Sai Kulwant hall, and 2 kilometers away, Sai Geetha would get restless. She would want to go near the gate. She would want to take her position and not miss the darshan. And the moment she would trumpet, that would be the signal for all the students in the hostel who were staying just opposite that Swami is coming. And for sure, Swami would be there in a few moments. That connect that she had was something absolutely phenomenal. It's almost like she had her elephantine network with Swami, and her hotline all the time worked. Her network was flawless, solid, and it worked in all seasons at any point in time. She knew Bhagwan. In fact, there was one occasion when Bhagwan was in Vrindavan, and the students were in the ground in the evening for their sports, and often Sai Geetha also would go to the ground for her evening walks. And as the boys were playing, suddenly there was this news that Swami is coming, Swami is coming. And even before the boys realized what was happening, Swami's car almost entered the stadium. It was in the 80s. You didn't have mobile phones, and it was that time when, you never had any clue about Bhagwan's movements. So even before the boys were wondering what is happening, Swami's car already entered the stadium, and Sai Geetha was there right on the opposite side of the stadium. She was at the Chaitanya Jyoti end. And the moment Sai Geetha spotted Swami's car, that's it. She trumpeted loudly and she started running. She started galloping. She almost became a mare. She was like a deer running, and the way she was unmindful of her body and sprinting like a deer, it was a sight for the gods. Because Bhagwan, then as he was coming, Swami stopped the car. Swami instantly got down from the car, and now Swami started running. So on one hand, Sai Geetha is running, on the opposite hand, Swami is running, and it was such a surreal sight, phantasmagoric. And everyone who were there, all the students, they were waiting to see what will happen now. It was like the heavens had come down, and as both of them met, the way Sai Geetha wanted to hug Swami, Swami wanted to hug Sai Geetha, and the way that love exchange continued for minutes, it was almost like Swami was hidden between the front legs of Sai Geetha, and she was constantly caressing Swami's feet. She was caressing Swami's cheeks, and it was almost like she just wanted to take her Swami and go off. And Swami continued to pet her, continued to pat her, and continued to pacify her. After 15-20 minutes, Swami wanted to leave, and then Swami brought some fruits which was in his car, and Swami started feeding her. With a lot of persuasion, Swami could extricate himself from Sai Geetha. And at that point in time, Bhagwan looked at the boys, and Swami said, "Do you know why I have kept Sai Geetha right in front of your hostel? It is to show you what true devotion is. If you have even an iota of the love that Sai Geetha has for me, Swami said, your life will be sanctified. On another occasion, when Bhagwan was in front of the hostel on the tar road, Swami was with Sai Geetha, and at times it happens that Sai Geetha starts urinating, overwhelmed with emotion. And when that happened, Swami's robe completely became wet. Swami was still patting Sai Geetha, Swami was still with Sai Geetha, but there was a pool of water under her feet, and the boys were hesitating to come closer to Bhagwan. And Swami looked at the boys and Swami said, if you drink a cup of urine of Sai Geetha, maybe you will get an iota of devotion that she has. I feel in the whole history of Sri Satya Sai Avatar, I don't think there was ever any person, any being whom Swami held forth and Swami said, this is what I call devotion. And I think this is the reason why we should contemplate on the sacred life of Sai Geetha. Isn't it, Prem?
Absolutely, Bishu. Even as you narrate these stories, one thing is, of course, the devotion of Sai Geetha that Swami often used to speak to us about. The whole setting of the stadium, Swami coming in his car without much ado, very casually coming, Sai Geetha coming, or Sai Geetha coming to the mandir. All of these, we probably will never get to see sights as beautiful as this ever anymore. There is much we can speak about Sai Geetha's life from the time she came to Swami and till the last moments that she was blessed to spend in Swami's presence. But Swami would often say, whenever he would give his discourses, Swami would make a reference to the lives of many devotees. A few that I recall, Mother Ishwaramma, whom we spoke about the last time, Kamavadani Garu, the great Vedic scholar, few Subhamma, Swami's foster mother. Swami would mention about all of these people and especially make a mention of their last few moments. And Swami would say that if you have led a life of nobility, it will show in the way you bid farewell to this world. So in the next few moments, we thought we would relive those few days, those last few days of Sai Geetha's earthly sojourn. It all started off in the summer of 2007, to the month of April, and Swami was going to Kodaikanal. That is nothing new about that. Probably the only new thing is Swami was going for Kodaikanal from Prashanthi Nilayam itself. And even as he was driving past the main road where we all know Sai Geetha's residence was, she came out, Swami stopped the car, and a very similar interaction to what Bishu had narrated happened. A beautiful exchange of love between Sai Geetha and Swami. She was also very happy, but after Swami left, her reaction was very different from what it used to be after such interactions that she would have with Swami. Because Pedda Reddy Garu, the caretaker of Sai Geetha for many years, he would say that joy that she feels for those few moments when she is with Swami would carry forward for many, many hours after that. But that day it was very different, because after Swami left, she started crying out. She seemed to be very, very restless, and then thereafter she kind of went into a state of depression. She was very lonely. She was not showing her exuberance as usual. So something seemed to have happened in that interaction, but nobody else knew and nobody else could have guessed. But what was even more surprising was what happened later that summer. Because in that particular year, Swami chose to return abruptly from Kodaikanal, and instead of going to Vrindavan, which used to be his usual practice, Swami chose to come to Prashanthi Nilayam directly. Everyone was surprised. We were all around. We were all surprised that Swami is making a change like this. Again, Swami came back on that main road. Swami stopped where Sai Geetha was standing. This time the interaction was a little more sober, a little more calm. Swami was also a little calm. Sai Geetha also was a little withdrawn, not withdrawn from Swami, but her reactions were not as exuberant as it used to be. Nobody could have guessed what happened, because much later the whole world was to witness what was going to happen. But all of the setting, I mean, now when we look back, there's no surprise in what happened, but something like this was unheard of. And what a beautiful connection between Swami and Sai Geetha, that he knew it was her last moments and he was hundreds of miles away. I mean, one cannot but draw parallels between the passing away of Subbamma and Swami. The story goes that Swami was in Tirupati when Subbamma passes away. Of course, she passes away, the news has been declared that she is no more, but Swami is still arriving from Tirupati. 2 days later he comes. He abruptly changes all his plans and he comes. In the case of Sai Geetha, something very similar seems to have happened. Abruptly he ended his Kodai trip, did not go to Vrindavan and came back to Parthi, because the next few days, for all of us who were surprised why Swami had changed his plans, the story was revealing slowly.
Yes, Prem, the story was revealing. And if you see, 2 days before the final fateful day, on 20th May 2007, something very unusual happened. Something which completely perplexed Pedareddy Garu. That night, 20th May, Sai Geetha, for some reason in the middle of the night, she just broke her chains and walked off into the ground, and she was relaxing on the sand. When Pedareddy Garu came in the morning, he was very surprised. It had never happened before. Every night before he left, he would chain her and she would accept that and she would let it be until Pedareddy Garu came in the morning. But this was one occasion which Pedareddy Garu did not understand why she did this. It was almost like she wanted to break free. It was almost like the spirit was seeking freedom and the body was now following the same. It's like she just wanted no more limitations in the body. In fact, this act of Sai Geetha breaking the chains had happened before, but it had always happened when she wanted to have darshan of Bhagwan. For example, in 1976, the Gokulam got inaugurated in 1975, and in 1976, a lot of construction was going on in Prashantinilayam. The primary school building was coming up, the colleges were coming up, and Swami asked that a bandh, a barrier, sort of be created behind this construction so that all the water that is coming from the hills could congregate, could collect, and Swami wanted that this water be useful for the animals, for the buffaloes, for the dogs and everyone, for them to go through the summer heat. They could make use of this water. And Swami would very often go to these construction sites, especially to the primary school. And one day, when Bhagwan came to the primary school site to supervise and talk to the engineers there, the moment Swami reached there, Sai Geetha, who was 400 meters away in Gokulam, she knew, she sensed, and she just broke her chains and she started running. Construction was going on, there were sharp-edged rocks, there was water, there was boulders. She bounced on the boulders, she jumped over the rocks. There was such undulating terrain, there was so much of slush and everything. She just didn't care. She just galloped and she came to Bhagwan. And when she came to Swami, it was almost like she covered a half-kilometer hurdle race with great success in minutes. And she was there at the feet of Bhagwan. And once she was in Bhagwan's presence, because there were people around Swami, so she was calm, she became quiet, she waited for Swami to come near her, and then obsequiously did her pranams and waited for Swami to caress her and fondle her. And Swami looked at the boys and Swami said, "See Ram, see her devotion. In comparison, all of you are Dunnapotas, all of you are buffaloes in comparison, if you see the love that she has for Swami." So this was one occasion when she had broken the chains. It had happened a few other times also, but it was always because she was unable to control to see Swami. But 20th night, it was absolutely for a different reason. Swami was in Yajur Mandir and Sai Geetha in the middle of the night just breaks the chains. So in the morning, Pedareddy Garu unable to understand what is happening, he does a welding of the chains, and on 21st night when he is leaving, he again chains Sai Geetha, and that night nothing happens, the chains are intact. But early in the morning, 5:30, Sai Geetha again repeats, she breaks the chain and she is out onto the grasses, on the sands. It was almost as if she was unable to resist that temptation to break free. They say if you want to tie camels to their pegs, suppose there are 5 camels and you have 4 pegs on the ground, to fasten the 5th camel, all you have to do is ensure that the 5th camel sees all the 4 camels being pegged to the ground, and you take the rope of the 5th camel and pretend as if you are pegging it to the ground, and the camel will think that it is bound and it will remain there. But actually it is an illusion, that bond is an illusion. Sai Geetha knew what is reality, what is illusion. She knew that chain is an illusion. She wanted to break free. She knew this world is an illusion. She knew what is true and what is not. All these days she allowed herself to be bound, but now she just wanted to be free. And that is what happened on the 21st early morning. It was almost as if she was now preparing for the final moment that happened the next day. I'll request Prem to continue, because that's really something very, very significant for all of us to contemplate on.
It is indeed very, very symbolic, especially that episode of her breaking from the chain. As I was telling, Swami would often say, and it is also mentioned by Krishna to Arjuna, that whatever is your thoughts in the last moments, if your thoughts are of God, you reach God. If your thoughts are of world, you return to the world. And then Krishna adds that you cannot manipulate those last moments. Only if you have thought of me all through your life, you will be able to think of me at those last moments. It is easy probably if it's a human being. He might call out to the Lord, or you might see an expression of awe of having darshan. We've seen many devotees express these kind of emotions in their last moments. How do you know when it is Sai Geetha? How do you know when it is an elephant, which we often talk of as an animal which cannot communicate what feelings are there? The best way probably is the way Swami responds, right? As we said, Swami abruptly coming back and the events that followed. 22nd of May, she woke up early in the morning. She was taken to the pond as usual, where she is given a bath. It so happened that for the past few days she was limping a bit. It looked like she had sustained an injury. She might have run a thorn or some stone into that leg. That's what the caretaker thought. That day when he was giving Sai Geetha a bath, Sai Geetha raised her front leg as though to show it to Pedaredi Garu and saying that something is hurting me. This was something that she would often do if anything has got into her feet. So he wanted to check, but she was not able to hold her feet on top. So she would immediately put it down, and Pedaredi Garu would say, "No, Sai Geetha, lift your leg, let me see." So she tried this 2 or 3 times, but she couldn't hold her feet. So he could make out that she had become very feeble. And the 3rd time when she lifted and she tried to hold so that he can see, she collapsed on all her fours. She just sat down. Pedaredi Garu looked at her feet. There didn't seem to be anything wrong. He thought there must be some internal problem. But now another bigger problem came, because after Sai Geetha sat down, now she was not able to get up. Because apparently she had not sat down for almost 1.5 years. Even while sleeping, she used to stand and sleep or lean against the wall and sleep. So she had not sat down ever for 1.5 years, and now her legs were giving way. They were not able to lift the body, lift her weight, and she was stuck there in the pond. So immediately Pedaredi Garu called for a crane. They called for a crane which was nearby. It turned out that the crane's capacity was 2 tons. Sai Geetha was 6 ton heavy. Then they again called out. They found that there's 100 kilometers away there was a bigger crane, but it had some technical issue and they could not get it. Then they called for a crane which was in Bangalore. quite a distance away. So they immediately started from Bangalore. But even as that crane was coming towards Parthi, some other technical snag, they repaired it. A few distance further, there was a puncture in that crane. Oftentimes when we look at life and when we are trying to do something, especially when it comes to health and there's an emergency situation and we're trying to get help, we don't want any obstacles in life. We always look at obstacles as inauspicious, as something that is not to be welcomed. But it is not so always. You look at this whole episode. Why would Swami not want Sai Geetha's misery to be put to an end? Because it was very clear Swami wanted to put to an end a misery which is much, much larger than physical pain. And it looked like Swami was literally ensuring that this was delayed, this help was delayed. And she was sitting there, as I said, it was in the morning, till about 12 in the afternoon she was trying and struggling to stand up. But then she gave up, she could not stand at all. Around 6 in the morning, Pedareddy Garu says that her head was becoming too heavy for her to hold up, and slowly the head fell, and around 6 she finally breathed her last, bringing to an end a beautiful chapter. But even as we talk about Sai Geetha, even as Bishu was narrating those episodes, as students there is only a little amount that you can see. I mean, we knew that there was something special between Swami and Sai Geetha. You could see that, the way they interacted. But there is so much beyond what we already knew. And the events that followed after this, slowly Swami started unraveling to all of us what a matchless bond was there between Swami and this devotee Sai Geetha.
Yeah, so as Prem was narrating that evening 6 o'clock, the doctors pronounce that Sai Geetha is no more. In fact, one thing that happened 15 days prior to this is Sai Geetha stopped taking food. She did not touch food for 15 days prior to this incident. It was almost as if she was preparing for this moment. She was breaking all the bonds, physical, metaphysical, anything to do with the world, and perhaps that was the appointed time for her to merge, evening 6 o'clock. And when that message went to Bhagwan, Swami was in the Yajur Mandir. We don't know what was Swami's reaction when this was communicated to Swami, what happened in Bhagwan's residence. But what we do know is that 8 o'clock in the night, Swami sends payasam, a specially prepared sweet dish, and Swami says, give it to Pedareddy and ask him to feed Sai Geetha with this payasam. Now Pedareddy was in a fix. The 65-year-old Pedareddy Garu had never disobeyed Swami, but what is this situation? How to feed a dead elephant? The doctors have checked the pulse, they have said that life has already flown away. But Swami says feed. So he just prays to Swami and slightly opens the mouth of Sai Geetha and pours the payasam, and he does it with so much of trepidation. Early morning he comes with a lot of anxiousness to see what has happened, because he knew that the payasam would have just come out of the mouth, because Sai Geetha is lying down with her head down, and if you put anything inside a dead mouth, what will happen? It will only come down. But to his utter astonishment, he found that the payasam had not come out. It was inside, and that is when, that faith, these are those moments of revelation. When Swami says, do it, just do it. If you just do it, then he will take care of the rest. And that is what happened. So the story was still unfolding. Swami sent another message. Swami said, dig a huge pit in the newly constructed building that Swami had built for Sai Geetha just 6 months ago. So earth movers and cranes were brought, and 16 feet by 20 feet huge space was created in Mother Earth for the ceremony that was to follow the next day. And this day, 23rd, was absolutely historic. Prem, I think you should take over.
Even as you were narrating that episode of Swami sending Payasam to Sai Geetha, it is nothing but a gift of grace. I can only muse about that episode and think, we limit Swami's grace to the physical. We limit Swami's grace between birth and death. But Swami's grace does not see any of those boundaries. When he wishes to bless, when he wishes to give, life and death cannot be an obstacle for him to give. And this is a perfect example for that. Finally, it was the morning of 23rd, the day of the funeral. Probably people would have thought that Swami has given instructions, Swami has sent prasadam, Swami has said what has to be done. But it was not any ordinary person whose funeral was being conducted. 7:30 in the morning, Swami was there. Swami came in his car. Even then, probably some people would have thought that Swami might remain in the car and see the proceedings for some time and go. Swami said, no, I want to come out. But even as the window was lowered, when finally Pedareddy Garu saw Swami, he could not contain his grief. He literally burst out, and when he went close to Swami, he found that pain was reflected in Swami's eyes. Swami also became very emotional, and Swami held his hand as though they are two friends or two relatives who have lost a common dear one. And that really was the case, because even as Swami was holding this caretaker's hand and consoling him, Swami said words which reveal to us who she is. Swami said, we have lost a great devotee today. And then Swami said, I have lost a great devotee today. And Swami repeated that statement again and again and again. He said, I have lost a great devotee today. Then Swami insisted he wanted to come out. Swami was brought out. Swami then went closer to where Sai Geetha was lying. And those moments, really beautiful, cannot be explained. I don't know any other devotee, how many devotees can claim that they had such love from Swami. Swami patted her head, caressed her face. Then Swami asked for vibhuti, and Swami himself applied all over her face. And Swami was constantly patting her face, Sai Geetha, Sai Geetha, Sai Geetha. And then Swami said to Pedareddy Garu, open her eyes. And he opened her eyelids. Again, it was surprising because it had more than 12 hours had gone by. The body should have started becoming stiff, but the eyelids were still supple. He was able to open her eyelids, and Swami looked at her. Later in that discourse that Swami gave in the June of 7th of June 2007 in the auditorium, Swami said, she saw me. Her eyes were open and she saw me, and Swami said, I told her, Sai Geetha, Veltunava, are you going? Velira Bangaru, go and come. Swami told. So it was not an ordinary passing away, I mean, to say the least. This beautiful interaction, and for as much as we could see with our own eyes, there was so much more happening which was beyond our perception. And Swami was revealing all that through this episode. So that is what happened when Swami came at 7:30 in the morning on 23rd. That was his first visit, because after blessing her like this, Swami returned and came back later, isn't it, Bishop?
Yeah, as Swami blessed Sai Geetha, and after that merger happened, the story actually did not end. Sai Geetha breathed her last. Swami put vibhuti all over her body. It was almost like Swami wanted to hug her. If you were there on that day, you would have seen how much Swami was almost all over. He wanted to be all over Sai Geetha. And that is what Swami did that day. Swami wanted to be there all throughout the day. After that, Swami instructed how the pit, the sacred pit, should be made ready for Sai Geetha. Clear instruction. Sai Geetha's body should not be dragged. Swami said her body has to be carefully lifted. And before that was done, what should go into the pit? Kumkum, haldi, turmeric, vermilion, vibhuti, sugar cane leaves. Swami said everything that she loved to eat, her choicest grasses, leaves, everything has to be placed. And Swami was personally inspecting what will go after which item. And after some time, Swami asked Peddaledi Garu, come with me. And Swami went back to Yajur Mandir. Swami went to his room, and now Swami came with a bag. This bag contained all the jewellery of Sai Geetha. Swami used to keep Sai Geetha's jewellery in his own room, in his own bedroom. So, all those beautiful embroidered body blanket, those necklaces, those earrings, and those beautiful garlands, everything was brought out, anklets. And then Swami said, go take this, dress her up very well, dress her up how we used to dress her during festivals, put everything. And Swami gave clothes to Peddaledi Garu. Swami said, you also wear these new clothes and you come there. So Swami returns to the sacred site. Now, all the devotees thought, okay, everything story is over, Swami is gone back. No one ever expected that Swami will come back again. And Swami was there, and now Swami again personally directed how the lifting of Sai Geetha's body should be done. Under the watchful eyes of Swami, protective eyes of Swami, everything was done. Swami asked the Central Trust members to offer garlands, when to put vibhuti, when to put turmeric after the body was placed. And after everything was done, and the body was placed and the pit was covered, even then, you would see that Swami was still there. He just kept looking at that side. It was almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and everyone was concerned because it's May, it's so hot. But Swami did not want to go inside. They were telling Swami, you come to the shade, Swami, you rest. No. Swami said, I want to be there. So he directed every little thing. I don't think there is any person, any being, anybody in the planet whose funeral Swami attended. He not only attended, he directed every little detail of that ceremony. Not only that, 11 days later, in Indian tradition, you have the 11th day ceremony. On that day, Swami came with a plate full of fruits, bananas, apples and sweets, and Swami placed it at the samadhi of Sai Geetha. Swami took that, went to the Gokulam, and Swami fed the Gokulam cows with that prasadam. When I reflect on these moments, what really comes to me is that beautiful episode from Ramayana, where Jatayu was on the lap of Rama. He was crying out, Jatayu was crying out, Rama, 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 on the lap of Rama as Rama was stroking Jatayu. Jatayu breathed her last. And it is the same with Sai Geetha. Here, Sai Geetha was waiting. Swami says that in the discourse in the Institute auditorium. 15 days after this event, when Swami came, Swami said Sai Geetha was waiting. And Sai Geetha was waiting, chanting Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Swami comes, places vibhuti and bids her farewell. And when you think about this relationship, this is something absolutely unparalleled, and I think that is the reason why the story of Sai Geetha is a Bhagavad Gita for all of us. The story of Sai Geetha has such deep lessons that it can really emancipate our lives. In fact, there is so much more about Sai Geetha. We will take you further a little bit to what Swami said when Swami came to the Institute auditorium after this event on June 7th, 2007, because those were moments when Bhagwan made revelations. It came directly from Swami about his beloved Sai Geetha. And I'll request Prem to continue the satsang.
Yes, the 7th of June 2007, Swami had come to the auditorium. The setting of that discourse was also very telling. This was, for many times Swami would do this, many years Swami has done this. The first moral class of the academic year, Swami would come and visit the auditorium and Swami would give a discourse. This was something that Swami had done for many years, and I think after a gap of a few years, Swami was coming for the first moral class in that year. And imagine in such a discourse, when Swami is there to inspire the students, Swami is there to give an instruction as to how one has to lead their life, especially when they have this opportunity to be with Swami. He chooses to speak about Sai Geetha. And even as he started speaking about Sai Geetha, Swami became very, very emotional. And as soon as he started choking, Swami said, "But this is not grief. Do not mistake this to be sorrow. Such emotions have no place in my heart." And then Swami said something very beautiful. Swami said, "This is not grief, this is Vatsalyam." Vatsalyam is the pure, unsullied love that a mother has for her children. Swami said, "This is Vatsalyam." And then Swami went on to explain so beautifully how she came to Swami as a 10-day-old small baby. And Swami said, "I had dipped my fingers in honey and I put my fingers in her mouth, and she was suckling Swami's fingers." And of course, Swami explains of how she lost her mother. That is how she comes to Swami. In a Kheda operation, she loses her mother. And when Swami is visiting that place, Madhumalai, the forest officials say that, "Swami, this is an orphaned baby, why don't you take it?" And that is how she comes to Swami. And Swami said that, "I started feeding her, and later I started feeding her milk with a feeding bottle." And in Swami's own words, Swami said, "I gave her so much love that she forgot about her own mother." How beautiful is this? Swami saying that he became her mother, that Vatsalyam. And that is one of the greatest blessings that Swami not only gives her, but Swami gives a lot of us, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when you're talking about how Swami became, so to speak, the mother of Sai Geetha, in fact, those are a very, very sweet moments, very, very beautiful moments, especially if you listen to accounts of devotees who had the opportunity to come to Prashant Nilayam in the 60s, in the 50s. They will tell you so many sweet, syrupy tales of this lovely, lively relationship that Swami had with Sai Geetha. What does a little one want from the mother? The little one always wants, the infant, what does he or she want? The infant wants that mother should always be with me. And that is how Sai Geetha was. Sai Geetha always was with Swami. Swami used to say that in the early days, I used to take her in my car, on the bonnet, and behind my car. She was so small, she used to come inside the interview room. And that is how it was. She was always with Swami. In fact, Swami constructed her little home just outside his window. Swami was staying at that point of time in the mandir, in the sanctum sanctorum as it is today, which is attached to the Sai Kulwant Hall. Swami was staying in the first floor, and Swami, if he looked out of the window, Swami could see Sai Geetha. That is where Sai Geetha was staying. At that point in time, there was a big tree there, and that was the residence of Sai Geetha. And if Sai Geetha needed anything, all she had to do was just look up and call out. If she called out, Swami would immediately come down from his room, and Swami would take care of her needs. Do you know what the routine of Sai Geetha was in those days? Early morning, after she wakes up, she would first go and do pradakshina of the sanctum sanctorum 9 times. These old devotees recall how they used to line up behind Sai Geetha and enjoy that chance to circumambulate the shrine as the little champion led the way. And then Sai Geetha would go to a Ganesha. At that point in time, there was this huge circle which divided the gents and the ladies' side, and in front of the circle was this shining marble white statue of Ganesha. After circumambulation, Sai Geetha would go and prostrate at this Ganesha. Little Ganesha prostrating to the white Ganesha. And the devotees loved to see these sights. And after that, she would patiently wait for Bhagwan to emerge for darshan. And the moment Swami's door opens, cutely she will jump, she will leap, and she will be at Swami's feet. She will touch Swami's feet, and Swami would start, and she would make these little cute, peculiar sounds, very pleasant sounds, almost like asking Swami to pet her, to fondle her. People knew that, this is what it was. A child wants always to be loved by the mother, and that is how it was. Swami would continuously feed her then with bananas and everything. And Swami also would give the chance to little tiny tots to feed Sai Geetha. So if there were little children in the ashram, they could go and under the supervision of Swami, they could give banana and apple to Sai Geetha. She would pick it up with her trunk. The children would be excited. So this would go on every morning and in the evening. And after this morning ceremony is over, the love exchange is over, then Swami will tell her to go to the Chitravati, and she would go there with her little caretaker. This little boy Swami had given the responsibility to look after Sai Geetha, so they will play in the waters, and often they would play this ball game wherein this little boy would throw the ball and he would want Sai Geetha to return with the ball, to fetch the ball. Sai Geetha would do it, but there would be some occasions when she would get excited and she would run away with the ball, and this little warden would get upset and he would hurt Sai Geetha with a stick. And whenever devotees saw that Sai Geetha is being harmed, they would come and report to Swami. And Swami would immediately call this boy, and Swami would reprimand her, how dare you do this, how can you hurt Sai Geetha? And the warden, the little warden would apologize, and Swami would let him go. But given that he was a notorious fellow, every now and then he would hurt Sai Geetha as they were playing. But one very beautiful thing that happened was never ever Sai Geetha retaliated. Even though she had all the strength in her to lift this fellow and throw him into the air and dash him to the ground, she never did that. The moment she had a problem, she would come straight to Swami. No matter where Swami was, whether Swami was in dining hall, in the interview room, she would just go straight to Swami and she would present her problem. But she would not hurt anyone. And that is the reason why everyone loved to be around Sai Geetha, because they know that she will not hurt anyone. In fact, Swami would not want anyone to feed Sai Geetha except give fruits. In fact, Sai Geetha also would not accept from anyone food to be given to her in the mouth. In fact, in 2006, during the Dasara celebrations, Sai Geetha had come to Sai Kulwant Hall. Bhagwan came out in the sofa, the moving sofa, and the boy who was next to Swami, he saw that Sai Geetha was standing there and there was some saliva coming out of Sai Geetha's mouth. So he thought, that will bother Swami. So he put a towel on Swami's feet and Swami's robe so that it does not get affected. And Swami immediately threw it. He said, don't do it. And Swami went to Sai Geetha and Swami started feeding her these apples, and Sai Geetha did not take. And then Swami said, I know, she will not take. And then Swami took the support and Swami got up and Swami fed her in the mouth. Swami said, she will eat only if I give her in the mouth. She will not eat if I give her in the trunk. And just like a mother is never bothered if the saliva of the child falls on her, if the urine of the child falls on her. That is immaterial. The love and the care that the child needs is what matters, and that is how it was for Swami. It did not matter how he was when he was with Swami. Only it mattered that Sai Geetha should be completely made comfortable and she should be filled with love, and that is what happened. In fact, Swami used to make rice and chakra pongal This is what Swami used to personally feed Sai Geetha. Others can give only fruits. No one was allowed to give anything else to Sai Geetha. Swami personally used to put in Sai Geetha's mouth her meals, rice and chakra pongal, and that continued for so many years. Just like a mother is okay if someone comes and gives the child some toffees, but the main meal that the mother wants to feed properly to the child, and that is how it was with Swami and Sai Geetha. So that Vatsalyam, it was supreme maternal affection. It is, as Prem said, when God comes down and becomes a mother, Sai Geetha had that experience, to experience the mother's love multiplied by 1,000,000 times and more. But what she did with this is what is significant. And I will request Prem to take us through that journey.
Absolutely. I mean, there's endless stories that speak of Swami's love for Sai Geetha as a mother. In fact, one beautiful episode which one of our lecturers once narrated was when Swami was inaugurating a cooperative stores in the Brindavan ashram. And Swami was doing this when I think the hostel boys had come, and the cooperative stores for the hostel was necessary for the boys. So Swami had come to inaugurate this cooperative stores, and it was at that time that they requested that Swami should make the first purchase, right? You've called a person to inaugurate, and you often tell them that, so please make the first purchase to start off the shop. So here was Swami, and who better than Swami to make the first purchase? Can you imagine what Swami bought? Swami bought some oil for Sai Geetha. That was how Swami was thinking of Sai Geetha all the time, like how a mother would think of a child. But as Vishu concluded, Swami is a mother to all of us. Swami himself says, Sai Baba means the divine mother and father come down in a human form. And in some way, Swami has been a mother to all of us, and Swami's love is that of 1,000 mothers' love, as Swami himself has said. But the question, or the most important question that needs to be pondered upon is, what is to be done with this love? We receive this love, what do we do with this love? Or rather, what do we do to ourselves to ensure that this love is preserved? And when we thought about that, one thing which occurred to us is, this love that you receive from God should make you feel detached from worldliness. This Vatsalyam should be transformed into our Vairagyam, or detachment. And I think if you look at Sai Geetha's life, you can see that she had done this. And that is why Swami says her love is an example that you all can look up to. Probably a few episodes of how she displayed this Vairagyam. It's really telling, because being an animal, I'm sorry, we are using this word animal with a caution, because she is never described better than the word devotee. But being an animal for us, she gave us an example of how we can be human. And I think that is why she stood as an example for all of us.
In fact, you're talking about how she converted this Vatsalya into Vairagya. I think that is the most powerful lesson, most powerful step in her spiritual journey. If you look at so many instances of her life, early in the morning, when she would get dressed up after her bath, Peddadadi Garu says she would wait for the 3 broad lines of vibhuti to be put on her forehead. She would wait for that moment, and once that is done, she would open her mouth, and Peddadadi has to put in a huge chunk of vibhuti. Many times she would not be satisfied, she would want even more vibhuti to be put, and till she is satisfied, she would keep the mouth open. And Peddadadi Garu used to say, which elephant will want to eat ash? But for Sai Geetha, it was nectar. Similarly, Sai Geetha would never want any noise in her dwelling place. It was almost as if it was an ashram. If there were sevadals gossiping at the gate of the Sai Geetha shed, Sai Geetha would take a twig and throw at the sevadals, warning them, keep quiet, this is ashram, no unnecessary noise. and she was very particular about who can come near her. She would never allow anyone to come easily near her. Only exception was the students, because she felt that Swami loves the students. In fact, there was one occasion when there was an assistant who was brought in to help Pediredi Garu, because Pediredi Garu had so many other responsibilities looking after the South Indian canteen also. But Sai Geetha did not accept this person. She did not accept this person until the day Swami blessed this person in the mandir. When Swami blessed him in the mandir, somehow in the Sai Geetha shed, Sai Geetha sensed, she knew that okay, now this person is fine to come near me and serve me. If you are not resonating with divine love, I have nothing to do with you. In fact, it reminds me of Hanuman. When Hanuman was given that pearl necklace by Mother Sita, we know how he just removed each pearl and he just threw it, and he said, what is the point of these pearls if they are not vibrating with the name of Rama? For Sai Geetha, it was always like that. Only satsang, only silence, only Swami Chintana. All the time, Pediredi Garu used to say that there will be always movement in the tongue, always in the trunk and in the tongue, and people would think that maybe she wants something, she's looking for something. Pediredi Garu says, no, you will never understand her. She was constantly chanting, and she was someone who never wanted anyone at any point in time to be near her. It was like her focus on Swami was complete to the exclusion of any person, anything in the world. And that is the reason why Sai Geetha is what she is.
One of the most beautiful episodes about her focus on Swami happened when, I think it was sometime in the late 70s or early 80s, when some of the elders in the ashram felt that she's old enough and she should be sent to the forest for breeding, because they said that after all she's an elephant and the emotions might change, she might become wild after that. Swami was not for this idea, but Swami said, okay, you send her, let's see. And she was sent away for 3 months, and with 2 caretakers. They describe how she went there and she would not allow any male elephant even to touch her. They even tried to tempt her by sending 2 small calves, small elephants into her stable, trying to probably kindle that motherly love. She is of that age where she could be a mother for little ones. Seeing little ones playing around, probably that emotion would come. She would just tolerate them for some time till the caretakers are around, and then she would just push them away. Because as Vishu was saying, that she did not want anybody around, and she did not have any kind of what we refer to as animal instinct. She did not have. She had already sublimated all of that. And in fact, for 3 months, Swami even visited her in between in that. But after all this, Swami said, get her back. She is not going to get into all of this. And then Swami declared, Swami said, she is a Shuddha Brahmacharini. Who else can give you this certificate but Swami? Imagine Swami giving this certificate to a devotee. This is a Shuddha Brahmachari. And you cannot be a Brahmachari or Brahmacharini merely by being a celibate. Swami clearly says, who is a Brahmachari? One whose mind is always focused on Brahman is alone a Brahmachari. Because her mind was always focused on Swami, she did not have any attachment to the world, she did not have any desires, and that is how she had sublimated this Vatsalyam that she had received. Because like all of us, Swami's love remains constant, but that expression of love changes. She did not have this same intimate love all through her life. Initially, she was very close to Swami, then her residence was moved further away. Swami would not see her every day like how she used to when she was a small one. So Swami's expression of love will undergo a change. But she had ensured that she had taken that love that she had received from Swami and converted it into this Vairagya, as we were trying to convey to you.
And I think this is the most powerful thing of her journey. Pediredi Garu used to say that yes, it started off as a mother-child relationship, but after that, it just zoomed to be a devotee-lord relationship, and from there on, moving on to she becoming a jnani. She had almost like become a sarvantaryami. She knew what was happening all the time. 4 days before she left her mortal coil, she had actually communicated to Pedareddy that she does not want to continue anymore. Pedareddy and she, they had their own ways of communication. Pedareddy Garu did not understand what she was trying to say, but it was very clear that she wanted to leave. Her time had come. In fact, 6 months before, when Bhagwan had built that new structure for her, and this was a structure which was done so beautifully, ornate carvings, and if you can anytime see, it was made like a palace. Until now, Sai Geetha was staying in sheds, and Swami called Pedareddy Garu, and Swami said, see, now we are building for Sai Geetha a big, beautiful and a permanent building for her. And Pedareddy at that point in time thought that maybe now she will not be moved, because by that time she had moved 5 places of stay. And Pedareddy Garu says that on the inauguration day, Sai Geetha somehow was very reluctant. She did not want to go into that new building. People around thought that, elephants, they like grass and sand. Maybe this is concrete structure, that's why she's not comfortable. But little minds, what can little minds understand about the designs of evolved souls? We, in our small minds, make these foolish guesses and foolish conclusions about the acts of those whose mind has merged with Swami. That is what happened to Sai Geetha. From Vatsalyam, the love that she received, she always knew the value of the love she received, and she converted that love into so deep an attachment for Bhagwan that for Sai Geetha, it was only Sai, Sai and Sai. And for Sai, it was a devotee that perhaps was so incomparable that probably you can only think of the Gopikas in that light. In the present times, perhaps there was no one who captured Swami's heart to this extent that Swami lifted and showed, if you want to be a devotee, be like Sai Geetha. Madhura, Madhura, Sai Bodha, Madhura, Madhura, Sai Geetha, Sundara, Sundara, Sai Rupa, Jayatu, Jayatu, Sai Krishna. We had this beautiful opportunity to do a little video on Sai Geetha on the first anniversary of her passing in 2008 in the month of June, and Bhagwan very graciously personally saw this video, and we are so happy now to share this video with all of you. As you see this, we hope it will enthrall you and it will inspire you to love Bhagwan like Sai Geetha did and become a beloved of Swami. Thank you so much. Sai Ram.
సాయి భగవానుని ముద్దు బిడ్డవమ్మా, సత్య సాయి భగవానుని ముద్దు బిడ్డవమ్మా. నీ నిర్మల భక్తికి సాటి లేదమ్మా, నీ నిర్మల భక్తికి సాటి లేదమ్మా. సాయి గీతమ్మా, సత్య సాయి భగవానుని ముద్దు బిడ్డవమ్మా. అడవిలో పుట్టావు అమ్మను కోల్పోయావు, అడవిలో పుట్టావు అమ్మను కోల్పోయావు. అమ్మా అమ్మా అంటూ ఎలుగెత్తి పిలిచావు, గుండె కరిగి పట్టి సాయి అడిగి చేర్చుకున్నాడు. కన్న బిడ్డలా సాకి తల్లి ప్రేమ పంచాడు. సత్య సాయి భగవానుని ముద్దు బిడ్డవమ్మా. కృతయుగాన హరిగాచిన గజరాజువు నీవు, శ్రీకాళహస్తిలోన శివుని భక్తురాలివో. ఏ పూర్వ పుణ్యమో స్వామి దరికి చేరావు, ఏ జన్మ బంధమో స్వామి మనసు దోచావు. సత్య సాయి భగవానుని ముద్దు బిడ్డవమ్మా. నీ చిలిపి చేతలతో సాయిని అలరించావు, నీ చిలిపి చేతలతో సాయిని అలరించావు. స్వామి కురులు దాడి ప్రేమ పంచి ఇచ్చావు, స్వామి కురులు